Good afternoon. On behalf of the Carrie and Fenn Foundation, we welcome you to our final day of our 2023 Paul Culver and Sparky Johnson Seniors Program. My name is Reverend Michelin Walton, and I am your host. This program is brought to you by the Carrie and Fenn Foundation in partnership with Ajax Legion, Parkland Ajax, Grandad Cares, PINDAB Limited, and a reminder that all 4 meetings will be available online at www.carrieandfenn.org. We will have a special tribute today for our dear friend Sparky. There will also be trivia, swag bags available for the participants that have joined us here today to show our appreciation. We have the lovely Christina Montoya has sent something special in the bag, and we want to thank her for her contribution. This program runs in memory of Paul Culver, my dad and my hero, and Sparky Johnson, my dear friend. She was not only a co-host, but she was a tireless advocate for our seniors. Carrie and Fenn Foundation is a registered charity that provides support, education, and resources. Here are some of the rules for the program. Our speakers will take any questions you may have with their allotted time. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, please type the word question if you're joining us online in the chat box. Or you can also put up your hand and have your question answered. I just want you to know that our speakers are professionals in their respective fields. We are not medical professionals. We are not doctors, and we do not give medical advice. Please always consult a qualified medical professional for your individual medical care. We take no responsibility or liability. Our waiver, which you agreed to during your registration process, applies. Our program waiver applies, which is available on our website. So before we get started, and as we are paying respects to the memory of Sparky, we will begin the Paul Culver Sparky Johnson Seniors Program by acknowledging that we are meeting on Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. As settlers, we are grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Long before today, as we gather here, there have been Aboriginal peoples who have been the stewards of this place. In particular, we acknowledge the Mississauga of Scugog Island First Nations. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place. We also recognize the contributions of the Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples that have made both in shaping and strengthening this community in particular, and our province and country as a whole. As settlers, this recognition of the contributions and historic importance of Indigenous peoples must also be clearly and overtly connected to our collective commitment to make the promise and challenge of truth and reconciliation real in our communities, and in particular, to bring justice for murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls across our country. Miigwech. I would like to acknowledge Wilmot Creek Property Management for creating a space that will be available for Sparky's Memorial Bench. So let's get started. Our first guest today is Anjini Mohammed, and she is from Safe Harbor Support, and she will be sharing information on mental health.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi. I'm Anjini Mohammed. I am a social worker and psychotherapist, and I own my own practice, Safe Harbor Support, where I offer counseling and coaching, and I'm also one of the directors of mental health at the Carrie and Fenn Foundation. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I hope I can share something of wisdom with you all. So I was asked to talk about mental health and regarding a senior older adult population. So as you see, I'm wearing our sweatshirt, let's talk about mental health. So that's obviously something very close to my heart. I'm a big advocate for it, and I've always been like that. So to me, at mental health at all ages is important, from young to old. We know in Ontario that seniors are the fastest growing group. And beyond Ontario, Canada, North America, we have an aging population, and we have ongoing concerns about how we're going to fill the gaps that are coming up. But we have to pay attention to our aging population. Currently, we have about 2.5 million seniors in Ontario. I feel that number may be higher, but my research wasn't showing me anything more recent. So we'll go with that. And we have a lot of current changing societal dynamics. We've had so much going on, especially within the last 3 years, and a growing awareness and advocacy of mental health and well-being. COVID really brought it to the forefront for many people. And that's part of what I'm going to focus on. I'll get to that point, but these changing dynamics that are around us, it really heightened that mental health issue beyond the physical health, because we talk about physical health all the time. We don't like to talk about mental health. Older populations were not used to talking about mental health like I'm used to talking about it. Well, even still, it annoys my mother when I talk about it. Although she's a strong advocate, but maybe strange at times. All right, so I want to ask you all, why do you think mental health is important? What do you think? Terry?
It gets us through our day-to-day life.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. It contributes to an overall feeling of well-being, right? Yeah. And unrelated, untreated mental health conditions can lead to diminished functioning, a lower quality of life, increased mortality. We don't want that. An important factor in mental health is engagement with others. And seniors are vulnerable to social isolation, which is where I'm going to go with this brief talk. If it's one thing that got very highlighted in the last few years, it's been the issue of isolation and loneliness. And that's been it got prominent, but it had been there from before. There were issues, I think I remember it was in England, they created a Ministry of Loneliness. They're creating, across the world, they've created programs where people can phone just to talk to people. I think in one European nation, they have implemented a system where in the grocery, you can go in slow a line to have a longer engagement with the cashier as a form of interaction and chatting. So we're beginning to recognize that isolation is a big problem. It became bigger with COVID and lockdown, staying at home, staying in your bubble, all these things that happened. You know, and then you couldn't go out. Yes.
There's a local one that does a call out to seniors once a week.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect.
In Durham.
Perfect. So you see, we have it here in the community too. There's a wide recognition that this is an issue that has to be dealt with. So how do we define social isolation? The National Seniors Council of Canada defines social isolation as a low quantity and quality of contact with others. It involves few social contacts, being separated from others, leading to limited social interactions. We have few social roles. There's absence of mutually rewarding relationships. Things that lead to social isolation: retirement, loss of a loved one, health issues, mobility, transportation. You can't go out, your health. You have a mobility issue. You're kind of limited. You know, all these things that happen that lead to the isolation. Retirement. I see it a lot. I'll bring up an example in a bit. where I saw retirement led to social isolation. So what would you consider the profile of a person who's isolated, a senior, an older adult? They're associated with the following issues. There's an increased chance of premature death. You're alone. Nobody's checking in on you. You're kind of declining. As Terry has here mentioned, a lower general sense of well-being. Just kind of malaise, kind of down. Leading me to depression. Getting into depression. And just how do you get out of it? Disability from a chronic disease. We have chronic diseases. We know what pops up as we get older. I mean, I started taking glucosamine. I'm admitting defeat now with my joints. Yes. Yes, let me tell you. My knee tells me, hello. Pay attention to me. Poor mental health is another one. When we don't engage, our mental health can suffer. Reduced quality of life. So we saw that a lot with COVID. Technology barriers. These are big things. Technology is a big thing. We have seen such a revolution with technology now, and such a change, that if we don't get on board with it, we're going to be left behind and completely out of the loop. We have changed. She had to learn, I'm thinking my mother's 80. She had to learn to Skype. That was the first one. Then my cousins bought her an iPad. I was like, oh, help me. Now she's discovered WhatsApp and an iPhone. So it's like, okay, all right. She's around. Whereas somebody else is not that technically savvy. But when she wants help, she goes by the hairdresser's son to get her to figure out what to do with these various pieces of technology. But there's support there, right? We have so many changing gender roles. We have so many changing norms in society. We talk about low social connections, not much contact with family. Everybody's busy working. We're living in an environment of inflation, trying to survive. We're in survival mode, right? What do we have to do? We got to work to pay the bills. Other people get lost in the shuffle of everything else. So yes, the loved one, the older loved one, yes, they're okay, they're taken care of. They're okay, but are they okay emotionally? And that's what is missing. And this is how we also live in North America, in Canada, and I would say in the GTA. We live in a very individualized community. Everything is focused on the individual, right? Everything is, okay, I'm sticking to my family, I'm sticking to myself. The community focus that some of us may have grown up with is no longer there. Yes, Terry?
We live in single-family houses on big lots.
Exactly.
So we're not even close to our neighbors.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So we don't know what's going on. Yeah, we don't know. We're caught up in this individualized world, in this North American world, whereas the sense of community that may exist in other places in the world, where it's literally the village, the community, the neighborhood that looks in on each other, that helps, that reduces that isolation, increases a person's sense of well-being, increases a sense of safety around them. That all helps. So what can help with social isolation? Go ahead.
Groups like this.
Exactly. Getting out, getting involved in events in the community.
My garden club meets in this room.
Oh, perfect. I need to talk to you all. My plants are not doing well. Being in good health. up that good health, finding some way to maintain that health, again, COVID, we couldn't get to our doctors and all of this kind of stuff. It was difficult. We need to, it's the lack of transportation. We have to figure out some systems of how to get people to where they need to be. I see several times, like on my Facebook group, for Durham region, somebody needs to pick up a package for a senior. Can somebody go and do it? And you'll get a volunteer doing it. So, thankfully there is that community assistance there. But it's kind of sad in a way that that person can't say, oh, well, my neighbor will go and pick it up. We have to put it out on a wider platform to get the attention. Residing where you feel safe can help with social isolation. You feel safe to go out, you feel comfortable, you feel that sense of security around you. Satisfying personal relationships, engaging with others, having friendships. My mother has a friend, they call each other every morning to make sure they're still alive. That kind of stuff. Checking in on each other. Again, having a support network, as you talked about, your garden club meeting, having other club meetings. I think of the Wednesday night group at the Pickering Rec Center where they meet every Wednesday to knit and crochet items. Experiencing meaningful roles, getting involved in the community. Experiencing meaningful roles, could it be as a grandparent, a great-grandparent? Could it be something in an organization that you're interested in? Anything like that. Take care of ourselves. How do you take care of yourselves? Exercise. My grandmother, I remember her. She used to be going to aerobics. And my grandfather. Where they lived, there was a big park. He would go walking every night and then meet his friends on the bench. And they would sit down there and, as old men did, discuss politics. But I remember distinct, and you could drive by the park and you would see him and his friends and you'd wave. You knew he was out there, he was engaged. All of that. Pursuing activities you enjoy. I think of my grandmother in aerobics. Nothing was stopping her from going. She was going. Volunteering. Exploring a hobby. I like to explore hobbies. I like to check out things. The latest one is basket weaving. I've been told I don't mind aiming to retirement. Schedule time to stay in touch with your support network. They should also schedule time to stay in touch with you. Something should be there. Whether it's, hey, we talk once a week, or, as my mother loves to do, send me these good morning messages on WhatsApp, these things that are forwarded throughout the world, and may the sun shine down on you and all this kind of stuff. Today she's checking in on me because of the smoke. And I'm telling her I'm all right. Right? If you are not tech savvy, your public library is a great resource. They will help you sign up for classes online or in the community. They can connect you to resources. There are a lot of programs that public libraries run.
Yeah. Apex Public Library is amazing.
Yes. What do they have?
They have something typically at least once or twice a week.
Yeah.
And then they bring in other types of people that run online or in-person groups. So there's something every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you want to learn something through the library and with their resources, you can get to an online class for free. You can get to some of the class for free. You join the groups. You join a book club in the library. Something focused maybe on mystery or maybe on something else. All these different things. Consider pet adoption if you're up to it. Pets can be a great source of comfort. And they lower stress and they lower blood pressure when they're not driving you crazy.
I have 2 cats.
Yes. Yes, and I'm sure they love you as much as you love them, and they're great companions. Yeah. So cat adoption. Staying physically active, walking, aquafit, yoga, running. Finding a faith-based organization or another community organization you may wish to get involved with. Right? These are all things that help with social isolation. Something I want to bring up that makes a person who's socially isolated, there's an element of vulnerability. And I've thought back and forth, do I talk about it or not? And I'm going to, based on reading something on Twitter up to yesterday. Scams. Going after older adults with scams.
Very careful.
And knowing that people are vulnerable and keeping yourself aware of the scams. I read a story from yesterday about a lady who lost $95,000 in a romance scam. So we're getting, they know our populations are isolated, they're on their own, they may be feeling a bit off, and they're targeting. So it's to be aware that these exist. I have been catfished. Luckily, I caught it very early. So I lost nothing. And I'm an amateur detective at heart. So my radar red flag started going up, like none of this is adding up. So, but not everybody's like that. People are vulnerable, we're lonely. We're gonna fall for stuff, all ages. But you get a text on your phone, this is your grandson, blah, blah, blah. Can you call me at this number? This is a CRA. The ones I keep getting now, I keep getting your, Amazon has your package or UPS has your package. I'm like, good, keep it. You will eventually find me or it will go back to the factory because I know none of it is real. So scams are my word of caution to just be aware of what's going on out there. I'm going to bring up two examples from my life about isolation. One person worked their whole life, worked hard, always liked a quiet life. So they retired from their job, they bought a new house, and they moved out of the city into a big area with lots of big houses, but talk about big lots, we're talking like an acre between them and stuff. So very isolated, not much social interaction. You could see the health declining. You could see just, yes, you call, it's difficult to get to the place. The person's getting older, they don't want to drive on the highway anymore. It's too much. So further and further isolation, geographical and emotional. Who's going to go out there? They don't want to go out. That's one that came to mind to me about really seeing how vulnerable and increasingly vulnerable this person became to isolation and the effect on their mental health. Not wanting to talk much, feeling down, just kind of languishing around the house. Just like, The other person, very busy, very engaged, strong, lives in a neighborhood where there is a group chat about what's going on each other, volunteering, a retired teacher going back to teach in a community organization, teaching literacy, and spontaneous, impulsive. A friend wants to go, okay, let's go here. Okay, we're going here. Let's do this, we're doing this. Goes to their church regularly. And during COVID, it was online. And you see the vibrancy of that person, that even though they are living alone, there's a wide area of connection. There's still connections. The house may be big, they may be alone in the house because they don't want a pet. That's not their style, but playing cards, an avid reader, all of those things. And meeting friends, you know, going out in the park and all of that. That to me is a fine example of somebody who, even though they're living alone, they have found a way, an older adult, to keep engaged. And their health is, they're doing fine. I bring you those two examples just as two different ideas of one person dealt with the change of growing older, with the onset of retirement, that major life change, and then this other person, yes, also the onset of retirement and how they managed it. Factors. One remained in the house, one moved away. One remained connected, one did not. So different, you know, the different ways they did it. So in all of this, it's important that we take care of ourselves. It's important that you take care of yourselves, whatever it is. Whether it's like my mother, you go by the hairdresser every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Because, God forbid, you're not showing a single gray hair. That's who, right? And maintaining good mental health, good mental health, connecting with others, being out there, talking, taking care of yourself, cooking, eating nutritious. Don't be like me eating a lot of cereal. Okay? And that brings me to the end. Does anybody have, I'd like to open the floor, any questions, any comments?
How would somebody get in touch with your group if they wanted some support or some suggestions?
We can find the information. I can leave you with my card, and I can. My website is safeharborsupport.ca. Yes.
And you have, what type of information do you have on there? Everything you talked about, or?
But we can talk directly, and if I need to refer on to somebody else for, you know, better resources, I can certainly do that. Yes.
Because I feel sometimes something like that is good. Some people are a little bit hesitant to put themselves out there, but if there's somebody who can be a resource for a variety of other groups,
yes,
I think that makes a difference, because if we just say, okay, I'm going to put this in your hands, if you can let me know if you can help me, so.
absolutely, sure.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Yes.
If, say a person, like we were talking about, even phone support, I'd be willing to do that.
Okay.
So how would I just contact you?
You can contact me. Yes. And I'll see how we can connect you.
Senior, you know, to chat. I'm a chat on the phone gal. I'm old school. Sherry and I chat every day. So I think, you know what, if I enjoy it, then.
If you could give it, if you could share that.
Share it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yes.
Okay. That's my thing.
Okay.
Chatting on the phone.
Very good.
I'm not a techie girl.
When I speak to my mother, she's in another country.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the phone and her phone is ringing off the hook all the time. Especially like if I call for her birthday or Mother's Day or something, it's like Grand Central Station in that kitchen of hers.
Wonderful.
And she's now left a message on her phone. Hi, this is Sandra. Please leave I can no longer run to the phone. So please leave a message. And I will return your phone call. You know, or something what I'm getting, yeah, I'm getting old, so I can no longer run to the phone.
Has to ring 20 times.
7. Yes.
I talk to my daughter every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes. Yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, so Jeannie is just one of the people that we have had during our program. So again, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to come and see us. I'd like to thank everybody who's engaged in asking questions. This is also something that's very important in mental health and dealing with seniors. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to look silly if I don't know the answers. And I know, Kathy, we're talking about being tech savvy. I tell people that I still have an abacus, and sometimes they're like, what? An abacus? What does that even look like? So, okay, we're going to move on. I'm going to move on to a very special tribute that is near and dear to my heart. When I was asked to create a memorial for Sparky, this is actually one of the second ones that I've done for her, and I'm sure there'll be many more to come, because she was just that type of person who is going to continue to live on, and I think it's important that we talk about her and everything that she did when she was here with us. So when I was asked to create this memorial, I'm going to tell you, it became quite a task, narrowing down all the great memories from talking to her friends, my own personal memories, because not only was Sparky my co-host for this seniors program, she was also a very dear friend, and I truly, truly admired her tireless work advocating for seniors. I joined her in some of the protests that she did, and some of the time she was being an activist for seniors' rights. And the thing is, with Sparky, it didn't matter. Your grandmother was her grandmother. Your grandfather was. It didn't matter who it was. She had such a strong constitution, and she was just going to help. She also was an Indigenous woman, so that was very important to her. And humanity on a grand scale, like I said, Sparky was not somebody who just said, okay, I know you, so I'm going to help you. You didn't have to know her. Somebody could pick up the phone and say, Sparky, my friends, sisters, neighbors, brothers, go on. And I'm telling you, she would be there. She would be there no matter what. I'm going to go a little bit into her Indigenous background, just because she shared that with me in my home up in Port Perry. I actually invited some friends over, some of the people here and she taught us about the 4 sacred medicines, which are cedar, sage, tobacco, and sweetgrass. And it was so beautiful to see the spark in Sparky's eye when she was teaching us how to use those medicines and wrapping them up in the little satchel. And then fire, she just loved fire. She absolutely loved fire. And we had a fire, and she taught us how to go into the circle, and her drum. She loved her drum, to honor the drumming. So it was really nice to get firsthand a little peek into her life and her background, and that was, I felt very honored and blessed to actually join her and share that with her. As we know with anything, when I can be sitting up here playing a guitar going, oh, McDonald had a farm, how long do I have to be here? And then I can be, oh, McDonald had a farm. And so when somebody's passionate about something, you're living it with them, you're feeling it, you're feeling the energy, you're being drawn into it. And it's just a really wonderful feeling. And again, Sparky was one of a kind, and she was loved by so many people. Today, I still have people from the other side of Canada checking in. We're reminiscing and talking about Sparky and all the things she did. So I'd like to share some of the memories that were sent by her friends. And those were just a few of mine. And again, I was really, I miss her during the seniors programs. We were doing the bantering back and forth. I know, Sparks, what do you think about this? But she was a really good support. I know she helped the Caring Fenn Foundation with the swag bags, and she was going over there helping with the background things. And when we do a program like this, there's a lot of work that's put into it. There's a lot of people that are called upon, and
again, one of the things that Sparky did was advocate for people. So she was out there, okay, I need your help to do this, and this is what we're gonna do here. And does anybody have a sign? And she just did it amazingly. So I'm just gonna say these are anonymous. I'm just gonna share sort of the memories. You'll get a sort of an idea of what kind of person she was. With anything, we all have a way that we connect to somebody and those own special memories. And I think what I want to get to by keep saying memories is these are something that we will always have. We'll always have these memories, and it's nice to talk about them and honor them. So here's one. My all-time favorite memory was of our highway dance. We were on our way up to my mom's cottage one Friday night, driving along the small highways on the way to Harcourt Park, and a song, Unchained Melody, came on the radio. I asked Sparks to turn it up, as I really liked that song. She turned it up and pulled over to the shoulder of the highway, came over to my side of the car, opened the door, gave me her hand, and there we had a dance by the light of the headlights. Some days this memory brings a smile, and other days tears. But I'm sure one day it will be a beautiful memory that only will bring a smile to my face. That's definitely like Sparky. For somebody who had mobility issues, that she could get around. Sparky, yeah, I think somebody had told her once that she was going to be in a wheelchair, and she said, no way, not me. And she actually designed a brace that helped her walk. It was, when I first saw her, I'm like, what are you doing there? It's really quite a thing. We had many great adventures on our vacation in Nova Scotia to meet Sparky's half-brother. To our 2-week Manitoulin Island camping adventure, sometimes very soggy and wet. How many people have been on those camping adventures?
Yeah.
But very cool to have spent part of it on a reserve with our tent in the middle of nowhere. On the shore of a lake, to our Winnipeg adventure to spend a 4-day weekend in a conference on a reserve where Sparky was helping a friend of hers get justice regarding her captivity at a residential school. So again, when I share, that was one of the reasons that I did the acknowledgement to the lands. This was really a big part of Sparky, and I think it's important when we share her memory and when we talk about her, that is part of what we're talking about, because that meant a lot. And I know that'll make her heart super happy that we are acknowledging that. That was something that she was navigating and was super proud of. I was also very proud to be at a ceremony with her when she received the Attorney General's Victim Service Award of Distinction. There are many other memories along our 26-year journey for which I am so grateful to have had. Even with all the bumps in the road that we encountered, I am so grateful that she was a picture taker. I mean, a picture taker. You know those selfies these days? It's kind of nice to have those pictures now. I remember my dad, when he was alive, he always wanted to go back to looking through the pictures. You know what I mean? Open the book and put it on your lap. Oh, I remember here, and what are they doing there? And some of the ones where I had pictures when we were all kids, the people that were all sitting around smoking back in the day. Or remember the old station wagons where the kids were at the back, not buckled in? Okay. Volkswagens. The Volkswagen, yeah. So it's interesting, really, how things have changed over the years. I'm so grateful that she was a picture taker, so I could look back on the many photos that she took and hold them, and the memories that they have created in my heart for always. So I'd like you at this time just to please bow your heads if you're drawn to. I'd like to say a little blessing. Creator, let your presence manifest in this place.
as we gather here to honor our sister Sparky. May you bring healing into our hearts. Let the things we share about Sparky bring joy and healing into our lives. We know it will be hard for anyone to fill the gap that has been left by Sparky's passing. But we also know that in the days, the weeks, the months, and the years to come, you will help heal us, and we will be left with fond memories of the times we shared with Sparky. Creator, we thank you for giving us a chance to spend time with her while she was here on earth. Amen. Sparky was just that for all of us. She was a spark. She was a freedom fighter, a beacon of light, and our shining star. I know for some of us, the loss of her physically can be unbearable at times. But today and moving forward, every day, I encourage you to keep talking with her. Share your day with her. Keep her memory alive. Yes, physically she has departed, but her brave, courageous, loving spirit lives on. Soar high, dear Sparky. I love you. Now, if there's anybody at this time that would like to share a memory, if not, that's okay. Sometimes people are, yeah, sure you can, yeah. So I'm going to talk, if you want to write something down, somebody can.
I do have it,
Okay, yeah,
but I don't want to read it.
that's okay. I can read it for you. This is also, being a reverend, I do life cycle celebrations of life. And this is something that I think is important because we have something to say. Not everybody wants to be up here dancing and doing, thank you very much. So this is nice, even if you write something down. And anytime when you put pen to paper too, it's super healing. It's very healing putting your words down and reading them out and sharing them, keeping them. So I'm going to read this other memory. Thank you. How I Met Sparky. It was at an outdoor concert in Bowmanville. The band was playing great music. Over near the dance area was this tiny human hanging on to her wheelchair. We talked about that. She was quite a petite. Just shaking her booty. I watched her for a while and was very impressed with her spirit and desire to be free in her tiny body. I walked over and we got chatting. I'd see her every month at these outdoor concerts. And over time, we became closer and closer. Sparky's spirit was huge. She became a kindred spirit and a younger sister. I have many, many more fond memories of Sparky. I was very blessed to have had her in my life. With much love and fondness, Kat. Megwitch, for being my sister. Love and miss you. Thank you. So when we do these memorials, and Sparky's been gone over a year, and some of the situations in and around her passing are still going on. And again, as somebody who does memorials, I really do encourage you to keep talking about your loved ones that have passed on. Keep, if they had a favorite flower, bring those favorite flowers in. If they had a favorite song, play those favorite songs. Just, it's the physical part of it that is something that I believe we struggle with, but their memory lives on. I'll tell a little story of my dad. he has a bench, and I'm super excited that Sparky is now going to have a bench. So my dad has a bench at the end of Pickering, and I have a business down there, and a woman came in and she had a T-shirt and it said Spiritual Warrior. And I'm like, I love that shirt. And she goes, oh, it's my brand. And I'm like, really? That's really cool. Good for you. She says, oh, it wasn't always like that. I said, oh, really? She said, yeah, for the last 2 years, I've been going through depression, isolation, sadness. I've lost my way. And she said, I would come down to the water and I'd sit and talk to this gentleman. I get a little bit teary about this one. She said, I'd sit and talk to this gentleman and he was funny and he gave me these great ideas. And every time after I talked to him, I felt so good. I'm like, oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Like Jeannie was talking about, like to be able to reach out and connect with somebody. And I said, oh, what was his name? And she said, Paul Culver. And that's my dad. And she was sitting on his bench. So please know that your loved ones are there. They're very close. They're there to help you and they're there to support you.
I have a similar story.
Okay.
My best friend, we've known each other since we were 4. Her brother, who's younger than her, younger than me, passed away suddenly. She and I talked over and over again what to do because he was a nature lover. He lived up in Lake Huron. So now that we're getting into the nice weather, yes, he lived up there. She lives in King City. I live here. The best place for all of us to get together is on our waterfront down here.
Mm-hmm.
So we are having one of the town trees that you can have planted down there and dedicate to somebody.
Yes.
So we'll bring all of his family down, her family down, and me. And we'll do the tree.
Very nice. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so this is a part that I do sometimes during the seniors program. It's a music trivia for anybody listening or anybody here with us. If you have a pen and a paper, I want you to write 1 to 12 down one side of the page. And you don't have to speak out. Do you have any more? Does anybody have another piece of paper?
I have 2 here.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm okay here, but okay. So this is music trivia. This is our final seniors, Paul Culver, Sparky Johnson seniors program for 2023. What I want you to do is I'm going to give you a little, I'm going to ask you a question. I may sing. I do apologize for that right now. I just want you to write the answer down, okay? Number 1, released in 1957, who sang Love Letters in the Sand? Now, you may or may not know this. That's okay. My grandson is funny. I just recently turned 60, and we had a guess what Mimi's favorite things are. And Cohen was so funny because he said, well, that's not fair. Mimi's going to know all the answers. So I kind of enjoy being on this end of it rather than having to guess the answers. So released in 1957, who sang Love Letters in the Sand? Okay. Number 2. In 1958, the song Volare, also known as, and I'm not Italian, so Nel Blu di Pinto di Blu, who sang this? And it went, Volare, oh, volare, oh. So that was a 1958 song. I'll do it. Okay, yeah, stop it. So number 2, who sang the song Volare? Number 3, who sang this song in 1956? Ready? I'm busting this one out. Well, I never felt more like singing the blues, 'cause I never thought that I'd ever lose your love, dear. Why'd you do me this way? Okay, do I sound like the person? Come on, no, not even a little bit? Okay. So who's the singer of that song, number 3? Okay. Listen, I'm now going to do a whole group, so I am now going to be a group. Number 3, which group released Smoke Gets in Your Eyes in 1959? They asked me how I knew my true love was true. Plug your ears. Oh, something deep inside. I don't have the rest of the words. Smoke gets in your eyes. Okay, who sang that? Number 5. I hope you're following along. Are we following along here? It's not that
Not
big.
got any names yet, but hey.
You don't, oh, that's okay, that's okay. Is it my singing? It can't be my singing.
No, it's not your singing.
Okay, thank you. So number 5, Fever was originally recorded by Little Willie John, who sang the more popular version, released in 1958. It went something like this. Never knew how much I loved you, never knew how much I cared. When you wrap your arms around me, you give me fever that I just can't bear. Who was the other lady that sang that song? You give me fever in the morning, fever when you hold me tight. Fever! It was a lady. Okay. Ready? Number 6. Are we getting any answers yet there?
Maybe.
Okay. What is better than, now you know why I like being up here, because I have all the answers. Number 6. All I Have to Do Is Dream is a song released in 1958 by which duo? And they pretty much said the same thing over and over again. Dream, 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 dream. It's a duo. And they're brothers. I'll give you that one. Okay. Number 7 in our music trivia. You Send Me is a 1957 single by which male singer? I'll give you a little bit. Darling, you send me. Darling, you send me. Honest you do, honest you do. Which singer? Well,
I know all of these songs.
you just know all the songs, just not who's singing it. Okay. Write that down. Yeah. Okay. Number 8. Who sang the 1956 song Long Tall Sally? No, it's so interesting when I went to get that, because when I looked up the trivia, it didn't really suggest that you sing, but I'm really shy and I'm learning to come out of my shell, so I thought I'd sing. But when I looked up the words, it's not the words that I thought. I've been singing them wrong for very long. And the words actually go, well, I saw Uncle John with bald head Sally. He saw Aunt Mary coming and he ducked back in the alley. Oh, baby. Yeah, baby. Woo, baby. We know this one. Terry must know this one.
I know what, I just don't know who sang it.
Oh!
I'm running into this problem with all of them.
Oh, that's okay. Okay. Okay, number 10. I actually remember this song. I was a 63 baby, but I actually remember this song.
I'm at 9.
Sorry?
I'm at 9. You said 10.
Oh, number 9 was, oh, thank you. So number 9 was Long Tall Sally?
No, 8 was Long Tall Sally.
Okay, well, I made a boo-boo, so I'm gonna have to switch those. So then number 9, thank you very much for keeping, I see I get carried away with the yeah. So number 8. Who sang That'll Be the Day? 'Cause that'll be the day, da-da-da. It is a gentleman and his group. Who sang That'll Be the Day? It was recorded in 1957. So remind me, I have to switch those around. So that'll be number 9. Are we on track now?
We are.
Yay! Okay. Number 10 is in 1958, this female singer sang this song. Who's sorry now? That's way up. Who's sorry now? Okay, I'll stop. That was in 1958. Who sang Who's Sorry Now? Okay, number 11. Another 1957 song. I am faking it. A whole lot of shaking going on. And this gentleman has three names. He probably did a dance to it too, but I'm not going to do a dance. Okay. Number 12. This was interesting. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about these songs after I do this, but this was, I didn't know. I knew this singer, but I didn't know this song. Diana was sung by whom in 1957? And it went like this. I'm so young and you're so old. This, my darling, I've been told.
It was like 16 or 17 when we recorded it.
Yeah. And it's, oh, please stand by me, Diana. We're having a whole sing song here. Okay. And if anybody here needs a question over again, or if anybody online wants me to read one of the questions, or if anybody would like me to sing, you can book me for singing engagements. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. Gotta stop it. Okay, so I also dance. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so the music trivia. Anybody need me to say any of the questions again? I know you know the songs and maybe not the people. Okay, so released in 1957. Who sang Love Letters in the Sand? Anybody? The answer is Pat Boone. His name was actually Charles Eugene Patrick Boone, and he was born June 1st, 1934. And Love Letters in the Sand was one of the biggest selling records and featured him whistling in the instrumental breaks. So that was Pat Boone. Okay. Number 2. Who sang the 1958 song Volare, also known as Nel Blue? I didn't even know that's what it was called. Nel Blue de Pinto de Blue.
And I don't think he's Italian.
I know. That's not Italian.
Made a rendition.
Is that not Italian? He's not Italian? Oh. Well, the answer is Domenico Moldugo.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh, no, so he is Italian. Terry, it says right here. Domenico Moldugo was an Italian singer and songwriter. The song Volare was an instrumental hit and even entered the 1958 Eurovision Song Contest, where it placed 3rd.
I think somebody redid it like in one of the casinos in Las Vegas.
The Gypsy Kings?
Yeah.
I just redid it right here.
Yeah.
Right here today. I just redid it. I will be that one-hit wonder. Number 3. Who sang Singin' the Blues in 1956? Does anybody want me to sing it again? No hands anywhere? Okay, the answer is Guy Mitchell. Guy Mitchell was an American pop singer who had several #1 hits. He was actually born Albert George Chernick in Detroit, Michigan. So Guy Mitchell. Isn't it interesting? I'm with you, Terry. It's a lot of I really like the oldies growing up, and I sang a lot of the songs, but there's some people they just know what the song is, who sang it, where it was written, and they know everything about
I
it.
know the song, but I never know who written it, who wrote it, or who sang it.
Okay. So, this is a group. Which group, number 4, which group released Smoke Gets in Your Eyes in 1959? It was the Platters. The Platters were a successful group from the early rock and roll era. Smoke Gets in Your Eyes was actually a #1 hit both in the US and the UK. I remember the Platters. They had some really good songs, didn't they? And I like that they had like all those nice outfits and stuff, and they danced together, and yeah, it was really good. Okay, moving right along. Number 5, Fever was originally recorded by Little Willie John, who sang the more popular version. Which woman sang this song? So this was a remake.
Diana Warren.
No, but I remember.
Perfect hit, I believe.
No. What they're telling me here, it was Peggy Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Peggy Lee was born Norma Dolores Eggstrom on May 26, 1920. As well as being a singer and a songwriter, she also acted in a few movies. She's a little bit like me, a little bit of singer, a little bit of dancing, a little bit of acting. So Peggy Lee, you remember that now, Peggy Lee? Okay. And these were a handsome set of brothers here. Number 6, All I Have to Do Is Dream was a song released in 1958 by which duo?
Everly Brothers.
Yes. Don Everly was born February 1st, 1937. And Phil Everly was born on January 19th, 1939. Don and Phil are the sons of country musicians and grew up performing with their parents. You know, I always thought they were twins. Do you think they were twins?
They looked alike.
They looked super alike, didn't they? I always thought they were twins. Okay, so the answer is the Everly Brothers. I wonder if anybody's going to get this one. This is in 1957, the song You Send Me. I'm just going to sing it because I like to sing. Darling, you send me. Honest you do, honest you do, honest you do. Whoa. Okay, so who sang the song You Send Me?
I was going to say Paulika too.
No, Sam Cooke. How do you know that one? Sam Cooke.
I didn't know that.
Isn't there a Sam Cooke in like that sings right now these days? That's a long time ago. Maybe not. Anyway, Sam Cooke was actually born Samuel Cooke, so we didn't change it up that much, in Clarksdale, Mississippi. And the song You Send Me established him as a mainstream R&B singer.
It's a good song.
It is a good song. You know what? I like the songs back in the day that you can actually sing along to when you know the words, and even if
You can actually hear the word.
and you can hear the words. That's true. You can actually hear the words. Okay, so I switched these a bit. So I think number 8 was who sang Long Tall Sally. Is that correct? In 1956.
Little Richard.
Little Richard. Little Richard was born Richard Wayne Penniman in 1932. Long Tall Sally was recorded in L&M Studios in New Orleans. I love New Orleans. They are so talented in New Orleans. Like some of the people on the street, oh my good golly, Miss Molly. They're fantastic. Talented people. Okay. So number 9. Who sang That'll Be the Day?
Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
And? Oh, very good. Yeah, Buddy Holly and the Crickets. That'll Be the Day was recorded at the Norman Petty Studios in Clovis, New Mexico. I've never even heard of that, Clovis, New Mexico. In 1957. Okay. How are we doing? How's everybody doing out there? Are you getting at least? Oh, two's better. Two's okay.
It's better than none.
It's better than none. You are correct.
Oh, okay.
Okay, in 1958, this female singer sang this song, Who's Sorry Now?
Really.
Who's sorry
Connie
now?
Francis.
Yes, who said that? Yeah,
Very good.
Connie Francis
He's the winner.
was born, she's like, has a bit, long name here, Concetta or Conchetta? Concetta Rosa Maria Franconero was
No wonder
born,
they shortened it.
yeah, so Connie Francis. She was born December 12th in Newark, New Jersey. She was advised to change her name, so she chose Connie Francis. I think that's probably a good idea, because that's a whole long name there, Conchetta Rosa Maria. That's, some people don't even have middle names. Like I know when some people have a couple middle names, some have no middle names. I thought it was always normal just to have one middle name, but I guess that's not the case.
If you're Catholic and when you go to confirmation, you get to pick another name. And some people keep that fourth or third name.
Yeah.
Some people don't.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There's more trivia. It's more trivia right there. Okay, number 11. In 1957, who sang the song, I am faking it, whole lot of shaking going on.
Come on, he was doing it on the piano and setting it on fire. Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yes! Was he setting it on fire?
He did some crazy things, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was great.
Jerry Lee Lewis was born on September 29th, 1935. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. Where is it? Does anybody know where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is? I know where the Country Hall of Fame is because I love country.
It's really close.
Close to
It's
where?
not where, maybe it's Detroit or Chicago.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Huh. I should look that up. And this was interesting. I had to read this one a couple of times before I was trying to figure out what the story was here. So Diana was sung in 1957. The words were like, I'm so young and you're so old. This, my darling, I've been told. So who sang it?
Paul Anka.
Paul Anka. So this is what it was actually about. I don't know if you knew this. Paul Anka was born on July 30th, Oh, he's a Canadian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote Canadian down on my piece of paper.
Oh, so you want an extra point for that? All right, go ahead. You want an extra point for that? Go ahead then. Fine. Will that give you 3 at least?
4 because I got Paul Anka.
Okay. So Paul Anka was born July 30th in 1941 in Ottawa, Canada. Diana, okay, for an extra point, then I'm just going to make this up right now. So I feel like giving points out. Who was this song dedicated to?
Babysitter.
Yes, his babysitter.
He got another point.
Yeah, this song was actually dedicated to his babysitter.
Very nice of him.
Yeah, okay, so how did everybody do?
That's about this.
6, okay.
Like I said, I got 4.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
You got Elise, you got Vicky.
So who's the winner?
50%, yeah.
Oh, 50%, that's great, okay. We have a lovely t-shirt. You want, we can leave it here for you or we'll get it after, okay? Thank you.
Very nice t-shirt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we also have swag bags. What we do at the end, this is, we've done the Paul Culver, Sparky Johnson Mental Health Program before. As you can see today, I am wearing my Sparky Always in My Heart t-shirt. If you want some, they need to be ordered now because then they're, yeah, you can contact the Caring Fen Foundation. And on behalf of the Caring Fen Foundation, we would like to thank the following people. These people were some of the people that have joined us before on our seniors program, but these were the ones that were here for this round. Christina Montoya, She was an arthritis dietitian, full of some great information on arthritis and nutrition and how to eat so your mobility and your body is feeling well. She also donated something for the bag, so I'd like to give a shout out to her. Martin Franson from the Durham Police Regional Police Services, and he talked about
He's good. He's a really good community.
yeah, he's a very good resource. He's been with us a couple times. He also talked about fraud prevention. He had some great ideas, and Jeannie touched on that too. He just, I love what he shares. He's really passionate about community. I'm grateful that he comes and joins us and shares those sorts of things.
He's a community relations officer.
Yeah,
And he does all kinds of things and he's amazing.
yeah, he is. He's really well versed, and he does care about community, and that's part of what we want to do here is to build a community and have support and resources for people. And the one thing that I do enjoy about him as well is that he keeps things current. So he's been with us before. And as we know with some of the scams and the fraud, the latest one is the whatever Amazon one, or the latest one is this. So it's nice to have somebody to come in who's actually working real time to keep us informed. We had also Shri Rayankula, and he did Yoga Point. He did a lot of, he did some meditations. I really enjoy this, and I wanted to touch on that when, and Gina was up here too. Sometimes just taking, I know she was talking about isolation and that sort of thing, but sometimes just taking a moment to take a couple of deep breaths can just give you those few seconds you need before you either go into panic or like losing control. It's not always easy, but just a couple of deep breaths, any type of meditation. And I do retreats and that sort of thing. And sometimes people get the idea that meditation has to be like sitting lotus on the top of a mountain for hours. And that's not necessarily the case. Meditation is just about a focused intention. It's about saying some positive words, some positive mantras. You're okay, you're smart, peace, joy. So this is also an option that you can use. And I really enjoyed what when Shri joined us. He follows a lot of the Vipassana meditation, and it's just sort of listening to what your body's doing and help coming back into a state of balance. Andrew Felker from Walkerhead Lawyers. Now he helped us with estate planning and those sorts of things. So as we get older, there's some certain paperwork and things that come up that need to be looked at, and it's important to really get on top of that. So he was a good resource for those sorts of things to tell us about our estate planning or will. Do you have a will? And sorry?
He does will?
Yes, he does. So yeah, thank you. Parkland Lifestyle Ajax, they have a facility. Again, a lot of people there with some wonderful resources that you can tap into. And Jeannie, who was here today from Safe Harbor Support, I really have a lot of respect for this woman who opened up her own group there, or her own support group. And that's one thing that I encourage you to do as well. And I tell this to people that I'm mentoring, or if you don't think you can make an impact, try going to sleep with a mosquito in the room. So sometimes we feel super overwhelmed, like it's true. Imagine this mosquito, you're like, the mosquito's in the room, you can't even go to sleep. And so you can make a difference, and every little bit helps. And over COVID, when everything was shut down, I really saw that come to light through Grandad Cares. I put some food out on the front, and I just would put it out there. And I had an 83-year-old woman that came twice, every 2 weeks. And she said, and we were doing work for lower income and homeless individuals and seniors that couldn't get out and that sort of thing. And she came out every 2 weeks, and she said, oh, I want to help. What can I do? And I said, I need a box of Band-Aids. And she said, that's it? I'm like, that's it. I need a box of Band-Aids. Some people are walking around. first of all, that was helpful to our organization. That was helpful for the people to have Band-Aids for their feet. And she felt fantastic. So it's a box of Band-Aids. That's all I need to do. Next time she came back, a box of tea bags. And you had people bringing some soup tins and that sort of thing. So I encourage you, going along with what Jeannie was talking about, like if you're not part of a community group, look into those sorts of things. But every little bit helps, and every little bit makes a difference. I can assure you. So, and I thank you for your compassion towards our community and towards people that, because we all lose our way sometimes. I mean, you might think, look at that girl up there, is she ever put together? But, or maybe you don't think that. But we all need a helping hand, and we all have times where we could use someone to come up and just say, hey, are you okay? Or a smile. So I encourage you to do that.
Most grocery stores have a box at the end where you're checking out, where you can pick up a couple of things and put it in the box, and they're distributing it to the people that need it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's also that's also a nice one. So, and to you, our participants, I'd like to really thank you for joining. I know sometimes with the Zoom and the Microsoft and the whatever's happening, I'm the host, and sometimes I couldn't get in. I'd have to phone Carrie on and say, okay, I don't know what do I press? Do I press this button, that button? Do I do the hokey pokey? Do I turn myself around? So we really thank you for your patience and for growing with us. We're really passionate about putting this program on. We are looking at doing it again. Now you can visit our website at www.carrionfen.org, and then you click on the seniors tab to learn more about our speakers and our organization. So if any one of those people that you have heard throughout this program resonated with you, you can go on there and watch their what they were talking about again, and you can reach out to them personally. There are a list of our program schedule is also available on our website at www.carrionfen.org. And in closing, it has been my honor to work alongside with the Carrion Fen Foundation team, Ajax Legion, Parkland Ajax, Granddad Cares, PINDAD Limited. And it's been a pleasure to work with all of you. I still carry Sparky's memory with me while I do these chats and these programs. I'm still here for anybody who wants to share their memories about her. I mean, along with my dad, they're two of the people that keep me getting up in the morning and getting going. And I'm really grateful for them being freedom fighters and leaders in our community. We need these special people. And even if you don't know them personally, I can attest, knowing both of them, they were absolutely wonderful leaders. And just the fact that some people don't know them just shows that when we gather here, all the things that have happened, you can make a difference, follow in their footsteps, and let's make this world a better place for everybody. So I'd like to thank you for joining us today. Take care, and remember, together we are stronger. Bright blessings, everybody.